Welcome to our ERPAL for Service Providers screencast. In this screencast, I want to show you how to use the reporting and the strategic forecasting functionality of ERPAL. As you have seen in other previous screencasts, in ERPAL you will have one platform to put all your data, all your workflows and all your process together in one central platform. This will help you to report and monitor your business data and to control your processes. Let's start from the reporting dashboard that you can access within the reporting menu button on the left menu. The dashboard and the reports are splitted into separate reporting sections. The one is for CRM, for customer relationship management, for sales forecasting, but also for expenses in the whole company, not project related. In the project sections, we can report the profit, the expenses and the revenue of our projects. We can see the relation between time trackings and estimations, and we can monitor how many open tasks we have in all our projects. Let's start with the CRM reports. First of all, we have our sales report. You can change or customize your reports by all the settings listed in this form. For example, you can control the date period that you want to report. You can also change the scale if you want to report by each month or if you want to see your report for each year. You can also select customers if you want to report just for specific customers, or for different customer categories, also for different service categories where you want to get a report of your sales activity and your revenue. You can also add dimensions to your reports. That means if you don't add any dimension, you will just see one graph that shows the whole sales volume of all your products or all your service categories. If you add the service category dimension, you will see how much revenue you created for each service category. And in the dashboard options that you will see on each report, you can control whether your report should appear on your private dashboard or on the dashboard of other people. In this case, I don't have any other users added to my ERPAL installation. This is why the select form is empty. If it was filled, you can control the dashboard of other people in your company. For example, you want the sales manager only to be able to view the current sales report. In this case, you will add him this report to his dashboard. Or you can add the report that you generate to your global dashboard. So you can also give it a name. Let's call this report sales volume of this year. And we want it to be visible on the global dashboard. We added the service category and we want to have a scale by each month. So click submit and your report will be generated immediately. Here you go. In this ERPAL demo installation, we don't have so many data, otherwise it could take a little bit more time and you will have much more data on this report. But what you see here is the blue graphs are for consulting. Remember, this is one service category, and you can see how much money you earned in 08 of 2014 with consulting, in the previous month, or in June. And you have a split by each service category. Below you can see details for each service category's reports. For example, if you want to see why did I earn 1,540 euro in August of 2014, you will just click the details and then you will see what happened and which revenue or sales volume was created by which customer. This will just help to get a detailed overview about the numbers that have been generated by the report. If you, for example, want a customer dimension, you will also see how much money you earned with each customer. For example, the company Direct Communications you had a revenue of 70,700 euro in the month of June. In July you had a sales volume of 50,000 euro, and here you have only sales volume with two different companies. And again, you can see the details by just clicking here, and you will see the invoices or the billables that led to the sales volume. And you remember we added these reports to our dashboard. It's the global dashboard. My personal dashboard is currently empty because I didn't add any report here. So every day when your cron job runs, then this report will be recalculated, and you will always see your current important reports without to update them manually every day. If you access your dashboard, you will immediately see, for example, your most valuable customers. You can see the projects with the biggest profit, or you can see the customers with the biggest sales volume, or even your most expensive developers, for example, or the projects with the highest expenses. Also in this report, in your dashboard, you can view your details. This is the same view that we had in our previous screens of reports. You can see again why we earned, for example, with backend development in August 45,300 euro. You can just click details and you will see a list of all the billables that led to this revenue. Let's go back to our reporting dashboard and just remove this one. So now you only have one report on your dashboard. This is very useful to customize the dashboard according to your needs, because every team member in your company needs to have an eye on different reports, and you don't want them to go to CRM or projects and always generate the reports that they need, but you want them to have them on the first view on the dashboard and regenerated automatically every day. Let's see what we can report with our expense reports. You can again just change the start date and the end date of your report. You can set the scale of your report. You can check that you only want to get a report of different contractors or suppliers. And you can filter by your expense categories. This is similar to the service categories in the sales volume. That expresses how much money you spend for which services, for example. Let's just create this report and add it again to our dashboard. Name it expenses. It should appear on the global dashboard, and submit it. What you can see now is just how much money you spent in August of 2014. In this case, it's 5,340 euro. And now if you want to see for what you spent your money, you can add dimension expense category, and you will have a list. In this case, we only have two expense categories where we booked some expenses on. Freelancers, it's about 270 euro. And expenses without an assigned category, you will have 5,070 euro in this month. Again, you can click on the details and you will see the billables. Let's change this report and see how it works if we add a new invoice, a billable, with a new expense category. So we will name it consulting expenses, just with this company. Say the price is 1,000 euro, and the expense category is, okay, let's call it hosting. We don't have another expense category. Of course, you can change it in structure, taxonomies, and then just change your expense category terms. Click Save. And go back to the reports, recreate it, and it will not yet appear. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, we just created revenue and not an expense. If we want to create expenses, we need to switch between contractor and customer. So let's do this and select here my enterprise. So the customer in this case is my own company. And what is your own company? You can view in the ERPAL settings. Here it's my enterprise. So we selected it as a customer, and the supplier or contractor is this company. Okay, let's save it. And now create the report again. And here you go with another expense category of expenses with 1,000 euro. You can click the details and you see our billable that we created. Let's go back to the CRM reports again and see what we can report with our leads. Leads are sales activities. So you can again filter by the date, and you can change or filter the activity status. If you, for example, want to see how many new leads you got in a specific month, or for each month, or even for each year, you will just set it to customer request. This is the default status when a new activity is created. And then you click submit, and you will see you had 7 new requests of your customers in August 2014. Maybe you don't want to filter by each activity status. You want to add the dimension and get an overview over all activities by every status. So you will see all your statuses and get a report about the statuses. If you just want to see how many quotes have been accepted, you can just choose this activity status category, and in this case we see we have 5 quotes accepted. That means 5 orders in this month. Let's report something about our customers. We can just make a choice which customer we want to report, and we can enter into the form what needs to be the minimum amount of orders in the date range and what needs to be the minimum sales volume. For example, I only want to report customers that had more than 2 orders with at least 1,000 euro of sales volume. So we can create this report. And in this case, I don't have any customer that created more than 2 orders in 1 month. So let's remove this. And here we will see that now we have one customer with a sales volume of 21,063 euro in June of 2014, another one in July, and here we have again different customers that have a different sales volume. And as you can see, we can increase the threshold for the sales volume and set it, for example, to 15,000 euro. This will lead to the same report as we have. Okay, very high sales volume for each customer, so increase it again to 20,000 euro. And you will see that we have only a few charts in our report that are more than 20,000 euro. In this case, this company had in July 17,000 euro, but in total they have more than 20,000 euro if we add these together. Because this is the same color means the same company, and 21,000 added to 17,000 is quite little more than just 20,000. This is how the customer reports work. And of course you can add these reports again to your dashboard, as you can do this for every report. If your company does strategic sales forecasting, that means you want to know how much money you will earn in the next few months. You can use the sales forecast and the sales plan. First, I want to show you the sales forecast. This is just a report that will use, I want to show you the forecasting options on an activity. if you, for example, create a new activity, name it develop a mobile application, and the customer is this one, then we have this forecasting data here. We think it's about 10,000 euro. Our chance is quite good, and we expect this revenue at the 17th of September. Save it, and this data will be used to create our sales forecast. You can just change all the data as you are used to from the other reports, but you can just add some checkboxes that need a little bit explanation. If you check to deliver output volume, means these are fixed price tasks that are not yet completed. They will be included into this report if they have a deadline. Then you know when this revenue will be realized. Estimated sales volume means this is the sales volume that is calculated from our CRM activity. And the delivered output, this is, for example, fixed price tasks or time trackings on price per hour projects that are already delivered. So just leave this setting as it is and click Submit to generate the sales report. As you can see, sales volume to bill, this is from this checkbox. We have 3,150 euro. If you want to check why, click to the details, and then you will see there are some billables for example, backend development in a software support contract or hosting. If we switch back, we will have another sales volume to bill. That means billables that can be put into an invoice. If you view the expected sales volume, in this case our 40,000 euro, we want to see why again. You will see the CRM sales activity, and if you remember, we added a new one, develop a mobile app, with a volume of 10,000 euro. You can just click the title and see your sales activity. You can change this forecast directly in your comment and leave a comment there to document why you added this change. This is how the sales forecast works, and now we will have a look at the strategic part of the reports, the sales plan. The sales plan is made for planning your sales volume with specific customers. Let's say in this year you had a contact with a customer that wants to buy something next year, and you think that you will have a sales volume of 20,000 euro. So you create a new sales forecast. You can leave a comment here, for example, why you think you will have this sales volume with a customer next year. You will either create a new contact as a customer or create an existing one. Let's take our consulting company. Then you can select a service category. That means with which of your services do you plan to make this sales revenue or sales volume in the next year. You can just have a global category, that means no specific category, or you can pick a specific one. For example, this customer wants training in the next year. He wants training for 10,000 euro, and we can leave a specific note here. He has a new big project where his team needs some training. We can add other forecasts, for example, for other service categories. Let's do this. And save. Okay, in this case we already have one forecast, so let's view it. This is the forecast for this company. Let's go back. I want to create a new one, so we will change the customer and use John Doe. Alright, now you see two forecasts. The one that was created in the demo already in the content of this demo installation. And we could not create a new one for this customer because we always want to have one forecast for one customer, and we will add the new field collection for each date. So no duplication, because this will split the report and you won't have realistic numbers for each of your customers. Now let's create, for example, a sales activity for John Doe. He wants a business application with Drupal. Our customer is John Doe. We will have 15,000 euro, middle chance, and expected in 1 day. Let's save this. And now, as we had already a workshop with this customer, we just create one invoice for John Doe. A workshop. Quantity 1 and price is 1,000 euro. We can add the service category, it was consulting, and just save this. Oh, we need to pick also an address. This contact does not have an address yet, so we add one. It's a John Doe Street with a postal code and John City. Just save it. Okay, and it is pre-selected. So now we can save our invoice. Go back to our forecast and nothing changed. Why? Because this is mostly heavy calculation if you deal with big data. So the cron job will trigger this recalculation. Let's trigger it manually in our cron settings. This is the CRM reports cron. Let's go. And go back to our reports. Now you can see that the numbers have changed, and as we already created an invoice of 1,000 euro, we'll see this in the current volume, and we have a forecasted sales volume of 15,000 euro. We can again click to this to view the details, and below you will see the details of the money that we already earned with this customer. This is how the sales plan works. For example, at the end of the year, you can make your thoughts how much money you want to earn with which customers. Just add them here, and then you will see in the middle of the year how your estimations and your planning is developed compared to the reality. The same can be done with an expense plan. You can create a new expense forecast in the same way that you add your sales forecast. You can choose the expense category, hosting for example. You can pick estimated forecast, for example 10,000 euro we plan to spend in 2014 for hosting. Let's save this. Alright, and as you remember, we already created one billable, hosting expenses. And now this should be visible in our forecast, again, if we run the cron job. Let's do this. And go back to our forecast. And you see that we have a current volume, current expenses for hosting of 1,000 euro. If you click to this title, you will see the billables that led to these expenses again. This is how the CRM reports work. Now let's go to our projects. So the easiest thing is to report how many active projects you have. There is nothing special about it, it's loading. It's just an overview of projects that are active in each month. Because each project has a start date and an end date, we can easily create this report to give you an overview how much projects you have right now or forecasted in the next few months. We have a management report. It's also pretty simple. You just see how many open tasks you have in total, how many tasks that are overdue, that means where the deadline is missed, where you have tasks that are not assigned to anybody of your team, and tasks without an estimation of time on the tasks. So that's pretty simple. You can filter by project, again add this to your dashboard, and that's it for these two reports. The profit margin is pretty important because it helps you to calculate and report the profit of your projects. So you can either pick one specific project, or you can pick all projects of one selected customer, and you can include only projects with a given status. So just report all of our projects, and you will see our expenses in the current projects. In this project we have 3,440 euro, and here is another one with small expenses of 620 euro. Here you see the revenue of each project, and this is the calculated profit of each project. So you will see how much money you really earned. What is included in the expenses are mostly time trackings of either freelancers or full employees, and as I've shown already in the previous screencast, you can add the costs and expenses of one person, of one user that can log in into ERPAL and track the time there at the profile. I just want to show you again. If you click to people, select one user and click edit, you have a user contract where you can change all the contract information. I think this is self-explanatory. You just need to add the type. Freelancer will create a billable that can be included into an invoice of the freelancer, and a full employee just creates a billable that cannot be included into an invoice because this will be paid with his salary at the end of each month. You can add the price per hour. These are the expenses that are added to the reports. And for full employees, how much hours a week and how much holiday a year. But these details I want to explain in the employee timekeeping screencast that will follow in the next days. So I hope this gave you a pretty good overview over how you can really control your business output and results, how you can monitor your projects, sales volume and expenses. And from my point of view, this is the real benefit that you get from using ERPAL as a central business management platform. If you have all your data centralized in one platform, you can create reports for almost everything that you can imagine. Thanks for your time, and hopefully to see you in our next screencast for ERPAL for service providers.